Just when I was afraid there wasn't enough to talk about, there's more details let out on the new Picard show after this. Hello out there, I'm the oldest nerd, and in a film clip that was shown at the upfronts in New York by CBS, we have Patrick Stewart dressed in civilian clothes, standing at a counter, apparently at a Starfleet facility, and a voice off camera says, "May I have your name, please, sir?" This gives us an inkling of just what we're in for in the new Picard series. And in this, it is, first of all, going to be titled Star Trek Picard, which pretty much leaves out the idea that there's going to be an ensemble cast. We already know that in interviews with Marina Sirtis back in September, she said that she's not been asked to be part of the show, neither is Gates McFadden or Michael Dorn. So we're not going to see a reuniting of the Next Generation cast. And not only is Picard not in Starfleet, apparently, from the little snippet that we had, he may not even be remembered by some people who are in Starfleet. This is some 20 years, or more precisely 17 years after the events of Star Trek Nemesis. So we know what's happened. In the meantime, the Dominion War has come and gone. The destruction of Romulus in the beginning of the Star Trek reboot happened, and that happened in our Prime Universe before the events of the Kelvin universe, in which Romulus wasn't destroyed, but Vulcan was. So we're seeing the aftermath of the destruction of Romulus and its effect on Picard, who had something to do with trying to help with reunification of that. They've told us that the season is going to have 10 episodes. They expect at least 3 seasons of this show, so it's not going to be a miniseries. It's going to be a full series, and it's probably going to start production either in late 2019 or early 2020. And according to Kurtzman, the head of all things Star Trek at CBS now, he says that this is about this man in his emeritus years, a more psychological show and more of a character study than an action-adventure like we might be accustomed to Star Trek being. He said that Kurtzman goes on to say that he has to go through deep valleys to get back to the light. So this is going to be a psychological drama. It's going to be of a man who has gotten nearly 20 years older and not in the action anymore. And so how does he deal with that? And add that to the events that happened in the destruction of Romulus and the instability in the Federation following the Dominion War. Where does Picard fit in? And my guess on this is that's what this show is going to be about. He's going to try to make himself relevant again, to try to reinvent himself, is my guess. The cast that they've announced so far include Alison Pill, Harry Treadway, Isa Briones, Michelle Hurd, and a couple of others that have done other shows, aren't exactly household names. So we have the inkling that there's going to be a ship and there are going to be associates that he has. We don't know what parts are going to play, if they're going to be aliens, they're going to be humans, or how it's going to work there. We don't know if Picard is going to be an ambassador or perhaps a headmaster. There's some guess by some that he could be going to Starfleet Academy in this scene because you don't see any pips on the uniforms. However, 20 years later, would they have pips on the uniform, or would they have stripes on the sleeve, or they would have stripes on, or rather pips on the comm badge, or any number of variations on that? The uniforms do look similar to that we've seen in the clip, similar to what we've seen in Starfleet Academy, but also there's some action figures out that show characters with the colors at the top and black at the bottom. a slight difference in tailoring, and considering how quickly styles change with Starfleet uniforms, this is not surprising that they would have a new design. So one thing that we do know is that Picard will be playing kind of, at least at first, kind of a fish out of water. And this adds to the problems that he'll have in the early part of the series. I have a feeling that this is going to be a very different kind of Picard. In fact, Patrick Stewart himself, before they wrote a word about it, said that he wanted this to be a very different kind of Picard than we've seen before. And in previous interviews in previous years, he said that he didn't want to go back to playing Picard. He's already done that. So since he also has a great deal of input in the writer's room, he was pitching stories, and while one of the writers is Michael Chabon, who also did the Calypso episode of Short Treks this last summer, we have kind of mixed feelings about how this show is going to be written. Sometimes I think when the actors have too much fun, the show isn't that good, and I'd hate to see that for this character that we've all become very fond of. We know that it's going to be on Amazon Prime rather than Netflix outside the United States, of course on CBS All Access in the United States. And we also know from other reports that CBS is restructuring its Star Trek properties altogether. They are redoing everything from the StarTrek.com website to every way that it's presented. They're going to make Star Trek their prime property, and I think it's about time. And so the idea is that they're going to keep maybe 3 television shows in rotation, 3 live-action shows in rotation. So Picard is going to come next as Discovery is winding down. Then we're going to have Michelle Yeoh's Section 31 show that will come sometime after that. It hasn't started production yet, as the Picard show started, I think, about a month ago. We have also the animated shows Below Decks, the one that's done by the creator of Rick and Morty, and a new cartoon show for children that's going to be on Nickelodeon. So there are going to be a lot of Trek properties, and they're going to be spread out over a lot of platforms. So we also have the games that are coming out, and they have one that's based on Discovery. There should be a lot of things that are coalescing as CBS reorganizes the Star Trek properties, in the fact that they'll have multiple TV series, multiple games, and multiple platforms to put things on. So I need your opinion now. What do you think that Picard is going to end up being? Is he going to be an ambassador? Is he going to be is he going back into Starfleet? Is he being recalled and have his own ship again? Is he going to be an ambassador? Or is he going to be some kind of lone wolf doing something? We don't know. Or are they just going to, sit him in a room and analyze him all season? I don't know. Nobody does at this point, except, of course, for the people who are writing the show, and they're not talking just yet. However, we expect that there's going to be a little more revealed when the Comic-Cons start coming out in the next month or two, so we'll have more information as this comes along as well. But please make something in the comments of what you think the new Picard show is going to be and whether you're going to like it. I believe that I'm guardedly optimistic on this. I'm afraid that it could be handled very badly, especially if Patrick Stewart wants to make this kind of the anti-Picard. I think that might be a mistake to do that. Even if that will be fun for him, it might not be for us. But I'm keeping my fingers crossed that they do something that can take this very charismatic actor and make something that we all want to watch. Also remember, if you have not made a subscription yet, and still about 80% of the people that watch this channel don't subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. It doesn't put you on any mailing list. You don't get spam as a result of it. It's just a way to tell YouTube that our channel is worth being promoted more and getting more viewers, and that would be nice for us. So I would appreciate that if you would do it. And if you want to not miss the next one, also click the bell icon as you do. So until next time, don't go far.